am Shannon and I'm a social content creator here at PitchGround. Today's topic, we're going to talk about graphic design. So our first question for tonight, as a freelance graphic designer, what is your story and how did you niche down to, graphic designing?
Okay, so the thing is, I've been into design for almost 3 to 4 years. So I started with mechanical design, then product design, then 3D design, and now into graphic design. So what happened is, I was part of a course, and my coach there was revamping a LinkedIn banner. So since I was scrolling through LinkedIn, I noticed that, and I sent her a text saying that the banner you've made is not to the level of the work you're doing. So she replied saying that she's been struggling for almost an hour to create that banner, and it doesn't seem to work. So she asked me if I could help her with that. So it took me about 20-30 minutes, and I made a banner for her, and she liked it. So the thing is, she told me that why don't you make banners for my students also, because they also have a LinkedIn profile. So at that moment something clicked, and then I went on LinkedIn the next day, and I started searching randomly for people. I found someone, and I made a banner for her and mailed it to her. Surprisingly, she loved the banner, and then we had a conversation around it for almost half an hour. And she also gave me a testimonial. So I thought of repeating this. So I made banners for almost 20-30 people on LinkedIn whom I didn't know, who were out of my network, and I got a bunch of testimonials for it. Then I thought the banners that I'm making are for free. So will someone actually pay for it? So I thought of testing this idea. So I approached 3 people, I made banners for them. And this time I asked a small fee. So 2 of them denied, but the third one said that she'll pay me. And she also brought a friend of her because she also wanted a banner. So I made 2 banners and got paid for it. So that's how I entered graphic design. And basically that was through an opportunity. And then at that time, I found a course around freelancing by Sahili Chatterjee. That course was called Freelance 101 Academy. So that course had the tools and the knowledge that I needed. And also the best part is it has a community of creators that helped me jumpstart my freelancing career. So that's how I went into graphic design.
All right, now that's great. I mean, I'm glad you actually started on LinkedIn. So it really is a great way to start out with your services. So, as a graphic designer, how were you able to establish yourself, and what tips could you share for those who are starting out?
So the first and most important thing is that you should provide quality work. If your work is not up to the standards, then nothing else matters. So for someone who's actually doing good work, firstly, you'll have to be visible. That you can do by creating content and engaging with others on the platforms. And I said, getting testimonials, because if you go and speak about your work, people won't believe. But if others talk about your work, that's how they'll start trusting you. So getting testimonials, having good quality work, creating content is how you establish yourself as a professional. Maybe not just as a graphic designer, but any kind of professional. That's how you establish it, by getting testimonials first.
All right. So if I remember correctly, you got 10 testimonials the first time around?
Yeah, around 10.
Around 10. All right. No, so and that's a good way to, just to really establish and put your profile out there.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. So for you as a graphic designer, what are the factors of a great design?
So I'll say there are 3 main factors. First is attention, communication, and then time. So any graphic that you create, it should grab the attention of the audience, communicate whatever message you want the graphic to communicate, and in the shortest possible time, because that's what the graphic is made for. Otherwise, you could have communicated that through text itself.
All right, that's good. That's great. I like you just went straight forward with it.
Yeah.
But for you, how are you able to find great quality clients, and how do you maintain this relationship with them?
So if you are a beginner, you'll surely not get high quality clients. You'll have to accept everything that comes your way, and then you can start experimenting and filtering out clients that focus more on money and not on results. Or maybe some want quantity work and they don't want quality. So that's how you experiment and figure it out. So I get high quality clients mostly through inbound leads, because the kind of content I create, that's the 80% of how I get my clients. And the rest 20% is I search hashtags on Instagram, check out recent posts, and then the profiles who created that post, I try to see if I can help someone with the kind of skill set I have. That's how I get the high quality clients. And maintaining is like, it's everything apart from your skill set. Maybe having good communication, delivering on time, focusing on the client is also important, because then we know, because the client wants us to be a part of their team and not just a service provider. So maintaining that relation is very important. And also, once you've done the work, maybe you've done the work a month ago, so even after a month, I text the client and just ask that how are you, what's going on in your life or in your business. So that's how I keep in touch with the client.
All right, so making sure that there's still communication, and it's
Yeah.
not only for the service, it's really just building
Mm-hmm.
that relationship.
Yeah.
For you though, since freelancing, it's a really vast world. How many clients do you handle? What do you think is a safe number
Mm-hmm.
of clients to handle?
Since I'm from India, I'll say if you're dealing with Indian clients, about 5 to 8 will be a good number. More than that, if you can handle more than that, then that's fine, not a problem. But 5 to 8 is a good number. But if I'm dealing with international clients, I guess 2 or max 3 will is good enough for your financial goals.
All right, no, that's great. Thanks for giving the reference. If you're gonna be
Yeah.
handling clients from India and also like from the other parts of the world, that's also important to know. For you though, what are the challenging aspects of being a freelance graphic designer?
I think since Canva has come into play, there are a lot of smaller opportunities that graphic designers have lost, because people have start doing things themselves, and that is good in some sense, because the kind of softwares we use, those are professional softwares, and doing very menial tasks using that is not. I think that's not fair for the software. So Canva does the job very well, and it's very easily available. So that's a good thing. So I'll say Canva coming into the picture, there's good news for the designers and there's bad news. Bad news is that you can't be doing smaller tasks and get paid for it. So people who just want to get the job done, they are facing issues because of Canva. But people who are creative, they want to showcase their creativity to the world, and they put in a lot of effort. They have the chance to stand out, because Canva still has a limit. But if you are a creative graphic designer, there's no upper limit to you. You can create whatever you want to. So that's a challenge, but also the challenge gives you an advantage. And the thing is, like, when I approach Indian clients, I see the graphics that they have on their profiles, that's not up to the mark. I'll say that's kind of there's a low standard there. But when I deal with international clients, the standard there is already high, and those people are not designers, still their standard is higher, so I'll have to level up my game. So that's a kind of challenge. If you're going from, like I say, local to international clients, that's a challenge. You have to upskill a lot, not just in terms of your design skill set, but also in terms of communication, in terms of creating a system around your business to deal with those kind of clients, because those are high quality and high ticket clients.
Yes, that makes sense. It really does. And it's true. I feel like Canva it's more of it's a blessing and a curse at the same time,
Yeah.
because there are people that really use Canva and they don't want to get a graphic designer anymore. But at the same time, it's still different to get work done by a graphic designer, because they really see it way past them, just the design. As you mentioned,
Yeah.
like there, there's a different audience for those that are in India as compared to those that are international clients. So that's something to think about, really.
Yeah, I'll also say that like, even if you're a newbie graphic designer and you want to just get started, you can still use Canva, because the other professional softwares have a bit of learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
So Canva helps you get started easily. Also, sometimes it happens that even if I'm giving professional services, the client sometimes wants templates. So Canva
Mm,
becomes very handy to create templates for that, because in
yeah,
Photoshop, if I create a template, he won't be able to use it
yeah,
because he'll need the software for it. So Canva comes
yeah,
very handy for that. And for anything small, sometimes the posts that I create on social media, sometimes they are also from Canva, because I don't want to
mm,
waste much time on it, or they are simple, or maybe I can make it through my phone, something like that.
yeah,
So Canva has a lot of advantages.
yes.
But at the end of the day, maybe like after a few months, you'll have to switch to professional softwares if you want to be called as a graphic designer.
Yeah. But I'm glad though that there's still that that bright side for Canva. So for you though, apart from Canva, what are other applications or tools that you use as a freelance graphic designer?
Like apart from Canva, it's majorly Photoshop and then Adobe Illustrator. And there are other tools like for sharing documents, I use Google Drive. I keep it in the, I don't send mails regularly. I keep it in the drive and the client has the access to it. Then I use Notion a lot because but initially I used to use Google Docs, Keep Notes, and a lot of other Microsoft Word, 3 or 4 documents for a single task. But now I use Notion and that's made my job a lot easier. So I would recommend people to use that, and we can also collaborate, so that's a very good advantage there. So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess these Notion, Google Drive, Photoshop, Illustrator, and Canva.
All right. So we're actually down to the last two questions. I've learned a lot. I know that time just flew really quickly. So for you, what are your tips for those who want to start out their career in freelancing, as a graphic designer?
From my experience, so like what I've seen is people start using the softwares first, and once they've learned the software, they think that they are a designer. But before softwares comes design principles. Principles like alignment, contrast, those are the principles that actually make you a designer. And when I see the post of designers also on Instagram, they lack these design principles. Even though the post looks very good, these principles are still missing. So whenever you want to start your journey as a graphic designer, design principles is the first thing you should look at, and that should be a part of your body of your language when you are a designer. You can't miss that. So the first part is design principles, then comes the software. And software can be according to the type of work you do. If you're making posters or marketing, then Photoshop. If you're into branding or print design, then you can use Illustrator or InDesign. And then after the softwares comes practice, because if you're not practicing the softwares, then there's no point of these professional softwares being there. So apart from designing, there's communication that comes into play, and a lot of designers are very bad at communication. I too was that. A few weeks back, I'll say, I've been practicing that because I am an introvert by personality. I don't talk that much. I don't come on camera. So communication is very important. And I got this feedback from a client itself that I asked her, like, what difference do you see in me and the other designer? And she said that a very basic difference I'll say is that the earlier designer couldn't communicate properly with the client, so she had to leave her. But I am able to communicate clearly, and so there's a good rapport between us. So that's very important. So apart from that, I'll say the designers are not result oriented, or they don't know business that much. They only know to design, and the job ends there. But what outcome can a design get for the client is very important. And we need to learn that, the business aspect of design. Chris Du is very famous for saying this. Like, he's the designer that almost everyone follows, I guess. So he always talks about the business of design. And I guess you should follow his channel, The Future. Yeah, I guess these are very important. First, design principles, learning the software, practicing the softwares, communication skills, and then being result oriented and learning the business of design, because how design affects our business is important at the end of the day.
Thank you for that. That was really elaborate, and that those are really good tips. I feel like those tips haven't really been given a lot before. I feel like the tips today are just like go practice on Canva. Because it's Canva is
Yeah.
easy, so it's easier for people to go on to. It's more accessible, but communication, building all of these, establishing yourself, the foundation
Yeah.
behind being a graphic designer, which I really do appreciate because you really study this and it really shows through your work. So my last question actually is just for you. Is there anything that people should look forward to in the days to come from you or in the weeks?
I haven't yet thought about launching anything as of yet from my side, but I'm currently trying to build my website because my portfolio is kind of scattered. It's all in the Google Drive, the files,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought of making a website for myself, because at the end of the day, your website is a 24/7 salesman that talks about your work. So that's necessary. And I just wanted to add a point about credibility. There are a lot of creators on Instagram that put out great content, but the design does. There's some issue with the design. So I kind of DM them and try to help them with their designs just free of cost as a creator friend. So even that builds credibility because that person knows that he's trying to help. And when that person or that person's client needs help with design, they'll surely approach you because they know that you can improve their designs and help them with their work. So building a network is important. You cannot be at all places every time. So you need to build connection with other creators, because suppose I'm in India, there's an opportunity in the US, but I have no connection with the US. But I have another creator who's dealing with the client in US, so he can give me that opportunity. So the networking is very important. And as graphic designers, since we don't communicate, we don't interact much, we should actually start building that, because that will help us grow our career faster.
All right. Thank you so much for that. That was really helpful as well. I think just all of those together is really important for those who'll be watching this as well. So
Yeah.
Shubham, thank you so much for your time today and actually being in front of the camera, because you mentioned earlier that, you'd
Yeah, I
much rather,
wasn't.
just, but the fact that you came on, I really appreciate it and shared all of these valuable information. I wish you the best.
There goes a sight from my soul.